Hello, I'm Michał.
Hello, I'm Fernando.
We are from Technical Support in Cześć Polska, and today we'll show you how to install our hybrid inverter MARS.
Let's go started.
When you open the box, inside you will see warranty terms and user manual,
Tools to mount the inverter on the wall,
Wi-Fi stick to connect it to the internet,
series,
all necessary tools, and of course our inverter MARS. To mount our inverter on a wall, you will need two supporters, screws, which are included in our toolbox, wrench and drill. Next step is to prepare our connectors. In a box you will find three connectors: grid, load and generator one. When you connect the wires, you have to be careful because the phases and cables all are marked here, so you have to follow these marks. As you see, one supporter we connect to our inverter and the second one is here, so now we are ready to put MARS on the wall. Now we will prepare the PV cables. After we prepare all the wires, now it's time to connect them to the inverter. So we will start with grid port and we connect our grid cable here. Let's go in. Then we'll go for a load port here at the back. And generator port here. And now it's time to connect also our PV panels. When we connect all the wires to our inverter, the last thing is to connect our series in the switchboard. So we connect the series in a main supply cable. So we find our main supply cable and connect the series. On a city, every city have the arrow. We connect them arrow to the inverter. So we just open it, put on a face and close. Arrow to the inverter. So have the power here. Second one. And the third one. and that's it on the switchboard. We'll go to inverter. To connect series to inverter, we have to just take out this cover. When we take out the coverage, it's time to connect cities. We connect them from port 27 to port 32 here at the back of our Mars. We start with white cable, then black, and it's very important to connect it like phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3. So phase 1, white cable is for port 27 and black cable for port 28. Then we go with phase 2, white cable, port 29, and black cable for 30. And phase 3, white cable for 31. And black for 32. When we connect series, now we'll just put in our Wi-Fi stick. So we just have to put it here. And we are ready to turn on the inverter. So we just turn on this switch in our switchboard and inverter will turn on. When it's on, now to start working, we just go with these two buttons on the side of this inverter. So one, the main button to turn on inverter to work, and the second one is PV switch to start produce energy from PV panels. Now when we turn on the inverter, we go to settings and we can start from system settings, set up date, language. If you change anything here in any option, just go to set, write a password, accept it, and close this window, so you make sure that the settings are set up, are safe, and go back. So set up a date, language, go back, go to professional settings, and here we can choose one of 3 modes that our inverter will work. So sell first means that first thing we will do is to sell the energy. So of course, like, we will support the load, the emergency load, EPS, that's the first thing, but after this, we will sell all the energy from PV panels, from battery, up to this value, up to now it's 2 kilowatts. We can change this to, for example, 5 kilowatts. So we will sell all the energy up to 5 kilowatts now. It doesn't matter, it's from PV panel or from battery, we will sell all up to 5 kilowatts. Second option is zero export to grid port. That means we will stop our energy at grid port of inverter. So the grid port will have 0. So we will support our EPS load. We will support our battery. We'll charge this battery, but will not support grid port. If we have enough energy from PV panels, we can go with solar cell, and then we will also sell this energy. We'll go with this energy through grid port and also support this non-emergency load, so this normal house load, if we go with this option. And the third option is zero export to city. So this option means that we will have 0 at city, so we don't sell energy to our grid. It's the same like on a grid port, but the point is other. Also, if we have more energy, we go with solar cell. So difference between zero export to grid port and zero export to city is that in zero export to city we support this home load, but in zero export to grid port we don't support it. Here is the value. We can choose how many watts we want to buy from the grid all the time. That's why we have to do that, because if we don't want to sell any watt, like the load will change during the time. So when the load is changed, when you like disconnect something, close something, turn off, like some power can go to the grid. If you don't want this, you can put here, for example, 100. If you put 100 here, we will buy 100 watts from the grid all the time. So don't sell, yeah. So if you turn off any device, this will go to, for example, 80 and then go to 100. So all the time you buy, never sell if you can't. Here we have options if we want our battery to be charged from the grid, to be charged from generator, and at the bottom how many inverters we connect parallel. So we go with parallel here, how many, for example 5, and address of inverter. First master is 1 and inverter take 2 ports, so the second one will be 003, third inverter 005, and so on. All the time set password to save. Then we can go to grid settings, and here we will set up all our grid conditions, so frequency and voltage here. Here we just pick, we have city or we have smart meter, so we go with city. If we go with city, we put city ratio here. If we will go with meter, we put meter address to communicate with meter, and meter type here. So now we pick Eastern. Inf up rate and inf frequency rate, it's the voltage and frequency on which inverter will work in off-grid mode. So here we have for off-grid, here we have conditions for on-grid mode, here for generator, and here grid maximum power is like we can limit the power inverter will take from the grid, so we have to choose this, put here for example 5, and will be 5 kilowatts maximum power inverter will take from the grid. Second page is about the generator port, so we connect generator, smart load or AC couple. Configure smart load here, AC couple here, generator here. Set up the settings we want and go on to another page. And here we have to choose our standards, so depends where we are, in which country. We're in Poland, so we go with PL. And safety time enable, if we want to make longer the time when the grid is off and then grid come back, when we want to have this time when inverter is not working from the grid longer, we can go with safety time enable. And all these settings here belong to reactive power settings, so if you want to set up any other than default, you can do this here. And the last thing we have to set up is in the battery settings, so we have to put here the maximum voltage and current for our PV panels, so it depends on our installation. So for first MPPT point and second MPPT point, we go with maximum voltage, for example 500 here. We have to set this up, of course set, put password, and our inverter is ready to work. About all battery settings we will talk in the next video when we will connect battery to our MARS. And now our MARS is ready to work. Thank you for watching, and as I mentioned before, in our next video we will show you how to connect battery to our inverter.
See you next video.